Hi, I'm Sara. I work at ingenious. It's a real treat for me to participate in this year's edition of UX Copenhagen, because I get to talk about one of my favorite things, and it has to do with brains. Not just any brains, but on average brains, minds of all kinds. And to talk about how designing for minds of all kinds can lead to bigger impact. At ingenious, we're all about impact, and we believe that great design will lead to impact for users, for businesses, and for the society as a whole. And that impact can come in many different shapes or sizes. For example, it can be getting more kids to read by designing an app for reading based on their needs. Or it can be making it easier for people to find their bus stop by making sure that the bus stop sign can be visible for more directions. Or it can be giving nurses a better working environment by ensuring that they can quickly get access to information just by looking down into their front pocket and seeing if the alarm that they're getting is really important, that they have to drop everything and just run, or if they can pass it along to a colleague. And by designing for minds of all kinds, making sure that the products and services that we design and build are more accessible and work for more people, we're able to create a bigger impact. And if we want to do that, we can't just design for average brains, for neurotypical people. We need to also design for unaverage brains, for people who might be neurodiverse. So I'm going to start talking about what the difference is between those two types of profiles. If you're neurotypical, you probably have a pretty even cognitive profile where you're average or pretty close to average when it comes to your different cognitive skills. If you're neurodiverse, on the other hand, you'll probably have a much more uneven cognitive profile, or even a jagged cognitive profile, where you have things that you really struggle with and things that you're really, really good at. And when it comes to neurodiversity, I have quite a lot of experience. This is my family, my current family, and it's me and my husband and our daughter. My husband, he's a die-hard gamer. He can read through the rule book of a board game and then remember how that's played years later, and also be able to explain to other people, which is great if you like to play board games and like to play old board games as well. Our daughter, she has some amazing visual skills. She can spot a teeny tiny dog from miles away. It's almost like she has some sort of dog radar. That's pretty cool. And this is my original family. It's my mom and my dad and me and my sister. My dad died a couple years ago. He struggled quite a lot with parenting, with understanding himself and understanding the people around him. But he was really good at being innovative and finding out solutions, smart solutions to really tricky problems. My mom, on the other hand, she was really good at being a mom. She was great at letting me be who I was. And she also worked as a special education teacher. So she's taught me a lot about neurodiversity as well. Both of our grandfathers were aspiring artists, were very creative and very handy. And most of those skills seem to have been passed down to my sister rather than myself. she's really good at being creative and being handy, which is great because I'm not, so that makes us a great team. So today I want to talk about the 3 most important principles to designing for minds of all kinds to maximize your impact. And the first one has to do with neurodiverse user testing. User testing is where we validate that the impact we're looking for is really happening in use. And I've done quite a lot of user testing. I'm sure most of you have as well. And some of the important principles of user testing is to test with approximately 5 users per scenario. That typically gives you quite a lot of good insights. Try to test in the user's natural habitat. You'll get lots of important information that you wouldn't get if you weren't able to be where they are. And also include neurodiverse users. And the reason that we want to include neurodiverse users is that they're often able to give us better insights than the neurotypical ones are. Because neurotypical brains are typically very good when it comes to automation, automating skills that we do a lot. And when it comes to brain automation, it's all about minimizing the cognitive workload for our brains, which is a good thing. So whenever we do stuff that we're new to, that we're learning to do, we have to use what's sometimes called System 2. System 2 is slow, it takes a lot of effort, but it's really reliable. It's the majority of our brain matters in System 2, but it takes a lot of effort to use. So the brain tries to automate whenever it can by pushing stuff down into what we call System 1. System 1 is fast, it's automatic, it's also pretty error-prone. So imagine, for example, when you're doing something for the first time, you typically use System 2 for that when you have a new assignment, a new job, visiting a new city. But that's really stressful and you get pretty tired from doing that. You might get a craving for sweets because System 2 takes a lot of sugar to be able to function. So it's a good thing that we can automate things and push them down into to System 1. But that makes this much harder for us to talk about things that we've automated. Imagine, for example, trying to explain what exactly it is that you're doing when you're driving a car, if you're trying to teach someone else. That's pretty tricky. If you want to learn more about System 1 and System 2, I can recommend reading Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow. It's all about how System 1 and System 2 works together and how most of our decision-making actually is done by System 1, the more stupid parts of our brain. Daniel Kahneman has actually been able to show that about 95% of the decision-making happens in System 1. That means it actually is automated. So if we look at a brain in a brain scan, when people are making decision, you'll see that it lights up in System 1 when that decision is made. But if people are asked afterwards to explain why they made the decision, then you'll start see it lighting up in System 2. But System 2 had nothing to do with the decision being made. That was purely System 1.
A lot of hugs.
And a lot of hugs. Awesome.
Thank
I will
you so
look forward to
much.
that. Thank you, Sara. Take care.